And hello, everyone. And today we have a new guest. I'm so excited. I knew Bess for a while. She's a very inspiring person, has a great story. And I had the pleasure to work with her over the last several months. And we met in Ottawa a
Okay.
couple of weeks ago, which was amazing. Incredible person, incredible personality, amazing story. And I've been waiting for this for a while. Welcome, Bess.
Thank you, Roupen, for having me. It was great to meet you in person too.
Awesome. All righty. So why you don't get started, and let's go back in time. Tell me, where did you med school and how did you come to Canada?
Oh, okay. I did med school in Nigeria in Africa, and I came to Canada with through the Express Entry program in October 31st, 2020.
Awesome. Great. So
Mhm.
you came here and you wanted to continue like your education or your residency. But before going there, did you do any residency back home or did you like work back home or no?
Yeah, I did work, but I didn't do any residency back home before coming. But I did work for about 4 years before coming.
Awesome. Okay.
Mhm.
So you came here and you wanted to get yourself to residency. What was the first thing you did?
First thing I did,
Yeah.
so I had my timeline and my plan was like CaRMS 2022. And I knew I had a very short time to, prepare and take all of my exams and make a competitive profile for CaRMS. So I had a lot to do within a very short time. So I started planning way before I came. I started my studying, and even the day I landed, I started classes, started studying with people because I had to take my exams back to back in a very short time interval. So yeah, it involves me doing a lot.
Okay. What was
Mhm.
the first exam you did and how did you think about it? And why did you choose that exam specifically?
I did the QE1 first, and that was because I really didn't care about either one, but because the NAC was only offered twice a year, and the NAC for last year was just one time because of the COVID. So the set for March was postponed till like September, October. So I had no option than to take the QE1 first. And after taking the QE1, I did the IELTS and then I took the NAC.
Okay. So for the QE1, what resources
Mhm.
did you use and for how long did it take you?
Okay, I really didn't have the time to prepare for long for the Q1 because I was doing the Q1 and the NAC together because I knew I had a short time to take the NAC after the Q1. So I depended more on group study. So I studied a lot with other people, like groups of 4, groups of 10. So we just did lots of questions. And I'm a member of AIMGA, that's the Alberta International Medical Graduate Association. So we had like classes twice a week, and we did like the U World questions and also some study questions too. So I did it with a group of people, and that also helped increase my speed because it made me understand some points quickly, which would have taken me a lot of time if I was to do it on my own. And I also joined AMCA, and I was also part of the study group there. So like I was combining both and my personal studies. So I was able to achieve a lot in a very short time. So I did UWorld, and I did a bit of Canada QBank and Toronto Notes and the NCC study questions.
Okay. Awesome. So we're done with the QE1 exam. Did you think about like doing the USMLEs or you were mainly focused on the Canadian exams?
So the main focus was the Canadian exams because I had the US as a backup, but I really love Canada and I really want to be here. One and two, I felt like if I really put it as a huge backup, I might not put enough attention on what I had in hand. So I decided to like, let me just focus on this for the year and see how it goes.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All
Mhm,
righty. So
mhm.
let's talk about the other exam, the OSCE exam. How was it? How long did it take? What did you use? Like, what would you advise someone like never prepared for OSCE? What should they do?
Okay. I would say take both exams within the same period. And for me, I think taking the QE1 first helped because I still had the knowledge from the QE1, so I didn't have to study again. So within 6 months to 8 months of the QE1, it's fine. So that's what I did. So I had enough like the knowledge of the QE1. So what I needed to work on was basically more on my communication and, get acquainted with some other cases and how, the common cases in Canada and how they present and practice with people so that some of those skills that you have that might not be very good for the system here, someone is able to notice it and you're able to work on it as quickly as possible. And one thing I did that really helped my OSCE was like practicing a minute or two below the actual time of 8 minutes for history and physical. So that really helped me with my speed. So in the exam, I didn't have so much pressure because I was able to finish all of my cases on time because I'd practiced with like 6 minutes or 7 minutes. So it was,
Okay, that's cool. Okay, so that's a really good point for time management. Like I think I did something similar also. Like for me, it was like 5 years ago, but I think I always like try to practice a minute less so that made me feel more comfortable while I was doing my exam.
Exactly. And I started at like about 3 or 4 months to the exam. So I was already used to practicing with 6 minutes and 7 minutes. So 8 minutes is a very long time to take a history for me. So I was able to like use that.
That's really good. And to be honest with you, like I think it's also important skill for if you are starting residency, like being efficient, knowing what to ask and being correct in your question. Like for example, a patient presenting with palpitation, you're not going to do a very review of systems and ask about like knee pain. You have to be focused on like exactly risk factors, precipitants, triggers, how long, and it is really helpful for residency, I should admit. I think like I took the OSCE exam. I think I also wrote the USMLE Step 2 CS. And at that time, like 2 years ago, when they were still delivering the USMLE Step 2 CS, I love the USS exams, don't get me wrong. I love the USMLEs, but like literally, I think the OSCE exam is one of the best exams ever out there for physical exam and history taking. It's very good exam. But when it comes to like MCQs, I think the USMLEs have a bit like more structured way of approaching things. Okay, so we did the OSCE, we did the QE1. What about like the Casper, the IELTS, the British Columbia exam? Like there are many exams out there for IMDs. Like what did you do for them?
So I took the IELTS like I think 10 days after my QE1. So I had, because, if you're in Alberta and you want to apply for Alberta residency slots, you have to go through the Alberta International Medical Graduate Program, so the AIMG program, and they demand that the IELTS, like the last day to take it was in September. Well, because I already had my NAC in that time, so I needed to take the IELTS soon after my QE1. But like I come from an English-speaking country, so it wasn't really that much difficult to take the IELTS. I just needed to work a little on my writing skills because that's where I had a little bit of a challenge, but it was good and the IELTS result was very good.
Good for you. That's really good.
For the Casper?
Yeah.
So Casper,
you're laughing, what happened?
Yeah, Casper was very challenging for me because I knew what to say, but then my typing skills weren't so good.
Fair enough.
So I had a lot in my head, but then not enough time to type all of those answers. So like that was a very challenging exam for me, really.
Okay. And did you like take the CAP exam? I think the exam.
So I applied for BC CAP, but I didn't get in. But but for AIMG program for better, we did like an MMI. So that we didn't have to type in the answers. So we just had to like a video MMI moving from station to station. So, and that was good.
Good. Alrighty. So we hit the first corner, exams. Now let's talk about like observerships, electives, Canadian experience. What did you do? How did you approach this? Like it's so hard sometimes like for IMGs to get a Canadian experience. What would you advise someone who is just starting right now?
It's hard, extremely hard, especially when you happen to come during the pandemic. So like when I came in during the pandemic and I was like, I wanted to volunteer. So I sent like contacting different hospitals and they were like, due to COVID, we don't take observers now, we don't take volunteers. So it was very discouraging at some point. But after a while, I got a family clinic to do observership. So I did that from like March to like July. So I was going like twice a week. So I was able to like understand how the Canadian system worked. And I was able to see what the major things are like that they present to in the clinic. And it really helped, especially in my NAC, because I already done that observership before I took my NAC. So it also helped in my communication skills. I knew how to relate with patients, and yeah, that helped. Then I wanted to do another observership in pediatrics because I wanted to do pediatrics. So that was even much harder because there are not so many pediatric clinics. And so I got a list of all the pediatric clinics where I live, and I wrote them down. And on a very good day, I was like, okay, I'm going to start calling all of these clinics one by one or emailing them and just see how far I can go. And I got a lot of no's. And a lot of people said, sorry, because of COVID, which is very understandable. So I kept calling, and I called this clinic, and the medical office assistant was very nice. And I was like, please don't tell me no. She was like, what is it? And so I told her everything. I was like, I've had so many no's today. Please give me a yes. And she was like, okay, just send your resume. And are you vaccinated for COVID? I said yes. And she was like, okay, I send your resume to the pediatricians in the clinic, and we'll see how it goes. So 2 days later, she was like, okay, one of the pediatricians accepted me to observe under her. And yes, that was how I started. So I did like 2 months from November to January this year in that clinic. And I got a lot of exposure to like the pediatric cases here and how it's different from where I come from. And it really helped.
Wow, inspiring. Like
Yeah.
it's all about persistence. Like
Yeah.
I always like I've seen this with every interview I've done so far. It's all about persistence.
Yeah. I was like, if they do not, like if she didn't give me a positive response, I'll print out a copy of my resume and go in person from each one clinic to the other.
Good for you. Good for you. And obviously that work paid off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's doable. Okay.
Yeah.
What about like so other than those 2 months, like any other experience you were able to gain or no?
Like apart from the observerships?
Yeah, like not like observership or electives other than those 2 months. Did you do anything else?
It wasn't 2 months, like pediatrics was like around 2 months. Then the family was much longer. I worked as a medical scribe for a physician.
That's smart.
So yeah, I did that from July till like March. So, and I did that like 3 days a week. So that really helped because I was in like the clinical environment. So I was always getting to hear cases. So that really like sharpened my clinical skills. So yeah, it helped me a lot in my knowledge. And
that's another option for like IMGs who are like trying to get into the system, and like you think you can do something that will get you like some financial help and also
financial exposure, and it can also get you letter recommendations too.
Wow, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. Yeah. So we talked about the experience and the exposure, but what about like research? Like lots of people ask me like, I don't have research. Should I do research? Should I do observership? Like, did you have any research? How did you approach this? What did you do?
Okay, I applied for a lot of research when I came in here, but I didn't get any. But back home, I did research in med school, and then I did also a research assistant back home before I came here. So I had a little bit of research experience too, but not in Canada.
So here you did not publish, you didn't get involved in research?
No, I didn't publish anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I did publish too. Before I got in, I had I think mainly 1 or 2 publications from back home, like crazy. Yeah.
But I feel like, like you have a weakness in one place, you can try to see how you can increase and advance in other areas. So it just makes you also competitive.
Yeah, I agree. 100% I agree. And at the end of the day, like I always, when people ask me like in residency, yes, they look for research, they look for like observership, they look for like, they look at, but it really boils down like the most important thing is like you as a person, like you a person that they can work with at 3 in the morning in the emergency. Like this is the hardest part of residency, I believe, being on call and doing the 26-hour call shifts. And like, is that person someone I can work with at 3 in the morning. Like this is very important.
Mhm,
Yeah. Okay.
mhm.
What about like volunteering and like extracurricular activities outside of like medicine? Did you do any? Were you exposed? Were you involved in the community?
Yeah, I was very much involved in my community because I was doing a lot of studying in a very short time and still trying to get acquainted in a new culture here. So I needed those volunteering and those extracurricular activities to like be mentally stable while I was doing all of that. So I'm very huge on sports. So I was playing, I'm part of a basketball team. I was playing basketball and volleyball and ping pong. So I was doing all of that. And yeah, and then I also like started working out as much as I could. And then I'm also part of a musical group because I sing.
Cool.
So yeah, and I also like collecting recipes and making different cuisines. So I also do that. And in my community, I was very much involved volunteering in a cafe, helping to take orders, serve drinks and learning how to make the different types of coffee in Canada. So that really helped me. I was very much
Wow.
involved in my community. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow,
Mm.
that's amazing. And like you just like found those opportunities from just like being active in the community and approaching people from your area, eh?
Yeah. So like because when you don't have so many people like a family here when you move in, you have to make a family from the people around you, right? So I'm here on my own, so the best way to get connected, like to get a community, was to harness and improve on your people skills and your communication skills. So I learned how to make friends easily. I learned how to be involved in community groups, and I had lots and lots of friends and support. Yeah. So
Nice.
it really helped. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I think it's very inspiring the word that you said, like I'm blessed to have my family here, but if you don't have a family, you have to make family from the people around you. Like this
You
is,
have to,
yeah, this
yeah.
like really touched
To
me.
keep
Yeah.
keep an open mind. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that
I like I'm a huge fan of like if you're here, you've left your culture and your country to a new place that is very multicultural. So you just open up your mind and make new friends and try to just be happy, do things that you love, learn new things you didn't know you liked. Like I started hiking right here, and it's really nice. I go hiking with a group of people. I went hiking 2 days ago, and it was fun.
yeah, it's
So
really cool.
yeah, another thing, yeah, makes one happy.
Yeah, just like talking about like activities and stuff like that. There is an application when I came here. I really loved it. I still use it until today. It's called Meetup, Meetup, Meetup. It's a great
Okay.
application where like you can find people doing the activities that you like to do. Like for me, I'm into biking, running, and like doing stuff outside of like medicine. So like this
Mhm.
application, you can find groups who like someone in the group does
Okay.
an activity, and you will find like 10, 15 people join that activity and do that activity. So it's really good if you are like a newcomer and you are looking for something to do, like Meetup. I think it's one of the great applications there. I still use it. I've been here like 5 years. Like I went
Mhm.
on a like I went to a comedy show, stand-up comedy, Elena Gabriel, and it was through Meetup. So yeah,
Oh, that's
that's
good.
really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, making family and friends from the people around you. Okay, so we talked about research, electives slash observerships. We talked
Mhm.
about the community. So you
Mhm.
created your package, and anything else like other than those four things that you added to your package, or like you just went to CaRMS with this?
No, so like my personal statements, I try to make sure they were very huge because I felt like my Q1 score was not very competitive, even though my NAC was. So I wanted like to make my personal statements stand out. So I had a lot of people really go through my personal statements, like 5, 6 people, attendants and residents, they
Yeah.
just went through some of my ING career counselors. So a lot of people went through my personal letters and made enough corrections here and there. And that period, I took some time off work because I applied for a lot of programs. So for family and pediatrics and internal medicine. So that's a lot of personal statements. So I needed time to be able to work on those things. So that really, in fact, I feel that was way much harder than even preparing for Q1 and NAC because I wasn't getting like 5 hours of sleep during that period because I needed to like work on those statements. So I wanted it to be different from my resume. So I didn't want it to be like word for word my resume or trying to explain what my resume is. So I wanted it to show more about my personality and who I am, and just to sell myself and to show like what I've been through, where I'm from, and how that has affected me and made me who I am, and how like I'm bringing that into a program and stuff. So yeah, that was very difficult and time consuming for me. It was also very expensive because I had to pay a lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's talk about like one of the biggest things that people fear from. It's the interview.
Yeah.
How did you prepare? How was your experience? What would you say to someone who just like got an interview offer now? What they should do? What they should do?
Okay. So like before I applied, I talked to a lot of people, like residents, and I was like seeking advice, including residency with CNGs and INGs, just seeking advice as to what to do. So I realized that I needed to apply for a lot of programs, so to increase my chances. But to apply for a lot of programs also means that you need to make each application stand out, because there's a tendency of because you're applying for a lot, you tend not to put so much effort on all of them, and then you might not get any interview at all. So applying for so many programs also meant I needed to put more time on those things. So after I submitted my application, I was pretty confident that I was going to get at least one interview. So because I'm in AMCA and I was advised at AMCA to start preparation immediately, even before I got offers. So I started practicing. I practiced with Canadians who studied abroad, and also people from my home country, and also people from other countries, because it's better when you practice with different people, because each person has different experiences. So I did that. I practiced a lot. I prepared my answers to likely questions that I expected would come. And then I spoke to different people. Okay, how do I go about this? Is this the best thing to say? Is this the best way to say it? So, and I was also working with time. So I'll be able to like, make a statement in like 2 minutes and you are the center of attraction in the room. So that I did. And yeah, so when I waited and the interview, I got a lot of rejections. So I became very discouraged and I stopped practicing because I felt like I wasn't going to get an interview.
Yeah.
So on the days after, and I had already stopped practicing. So that meant, yeah. So that meant me having to start again and stay up all night practicing and practicing and practicing. I have so much to do.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I think you started early, and then like there was a period where you got frustrated, but then you got
Yeah.
interviews and you continued practicing. Yeah, it's not easy, I would say.
Yeah.
It could be,
Yeah.
it is a tricky for sure
Mhm.
situation for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And like, what would be your last word for someone who's just like applying? Or like, what are the take home points from your experience for someone who's starting the process right now?
Mhm. I'd say that they should believe in themselves, because 95% of the time they'll be faced with so many discouragements from people that they know, that they love, that they respect. They're going to tell them it's not possible, they won't be able to get in. So I got all of that, and it's very discouraging. So they need to stand up for themselves and try to believe in themselves and decide what used to be some people's goals. I didn't want any discouraging remarks on what I wanted to do. And then to look for the people, determination and passion, and work with them. Like, you don't need a crowd. You just need one or two people who believe in you, and just go on, learn from it. Be persistent, because sometimes you get so many no's, but just keep pushing, and always talk to people that you need help, because you don't know who might be an open door for you. So I think that's what I have to say. Like, it's better than even getting high scores in exams and doing all of those stuff. But if you're not persistent and you're not passionate, and you might not still get far. But then if you are, no matter your scores, you just keep doing what you need to do. Ask questions. How do I need to build a competitive profile? What do I need to do to improve my chances? And then when you get those tips, you try to actually really do them. Like in this process, you cannot afford to be lazy. There's no way. It's not going to work. So you need to actually put in all of your efforts into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So mainly like believe in yourself and work as hard as you can early in the process.
Yeah, and speak to people and talk to people and
yeah.
get all of the help that you can. You can do it on your own, totally.
Yeah, I agree. It's a teamwork. It's a
The
teamwork.
teamwork.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I really appreciate it. This is helpful for me. Every time I interview someone, I learn a lot, and hopefully help many IMGs who are like starting their path right now. Okay, good luck everyone, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.